The EUAV experience is for sure a mutual exchange of skills and knowledges and ideas. You as a volunteer will learn a lot, of course, but at the same time, it's very, very important that you're also bringing your own contribution, your own ideas, because in the end, you can really create something really powerful that could make this difference, and that could actually be the best solution, this combined teamwork. I think EUAV program is for all of those people who really want to do something more in their life. I know it sounds very banal, but that's the truth. This is for those who want to help other people, and they also want to improve themselves as human beings.
For people who want to have another experience outside their countries.
People who would like to work in the humanitarian context.
I don't think a person can be too old to volunteer, because especially the more you build your professionality, the more it's going to be useful for the NGO that you're working with.
Pour d'autres volontaires qui viendraient dans d'autres domaines, ils doivent absolument être pointus dans le job qu'on leur demande, à pouvoir transmettre des connaissances qui manquent ici.
Je pense que c'est un super programme dans les deux sens, c'est-à-dire pour les Européens et pour les pays qui accueillent des volontaires. Ça permet vraiment d'enrichir les deux parties, c'est-à-dire c'est un win-win.
In the European Union, we have very high education level, and we have very many experts who could share their knowledge with the other parts of the world. So that's how I see the EU aid volunteers can help with their knowledge. There are jobs you can't pay for, and we're very happy that there are people who are willing to do this kind of jobs. And when you're doing this kind of job, then you're developing yourself as a person.
They will bring new experience, what they have, or maybe some knowledge. They will strengthen the team of the organization, because lots of time, as we know, as humanitarian organization, we are a lack of colleagues of the staff who have a professional experience, so they will be strengthened. They will both build capacities, I think, volunteers as well as organization.
Il peut y avoir des obstacles ou des challenges auxquels les volontaires vont être confrontés, tout simplement déjà sur les questions de méthode de travail. Plein de petites choses qui s'accumulent, qui peuvent être des obstacles assez compliqués parfois à surmonter pour faire en sorte que le projet se déroule le mieux possible. Généralement, les volontaires surmontent ces obstacles, ces difficultés. Dans la plupart des cas, évidemment, les volontaires prennent le temps de s'adapter, d'observer, puis de mettre en œuvre, jusqu'à une réussite du projet.
J'ai découvert le dispositif EU-Aid Volunteers par le biais d'une plateforme. J'ai postulé à cette offre de volontariat qui m'a permis de bénéficier d'une formation de préparation à l'envoi, qui m'a permis vraiment de concrétiser mon projet qui était de vivre une expérience à l'étranger.
I really liked the pre-departure training. First of all, it was a lot of fun because you met so many people around, like different countries with different background. It was a very good way to confront each other. And all the things that they taught us, they were super, super interesting. Crazily enough, they taught us about wash our hands, which I never thought it was going to be useful, but then it became so useful.
The best thing that I got out of the UAV training was my friends, the other volunteers. We were basically like a mutual support, and I think it's very important also that you have someone that understands you, that's in the same position.
So I've decided to become a volunteer because I would like to get expertise in this field. I want to improve on how to write a project, monitoring, evaluation, implementing the project. So far I'm learning quite a lot.
At the beginning, when we started to work with people with autism, for me it was very difficult because I never worked with this kind of patient. It's okay if you are in your language, un plus pack ship. But after I learned to communicate with them in another way, I prefer to work directly with people. So it's perfect.
So the thing that I liked about SPI was the fact that they were working very closely with the community of beneficiaries of the refugee community in Istanbul, so that I could bring my skills, my professionalities, but I also could work directly with the community. So I could see the impact immediately. I never had the feeling that I was not useful even during the pandemic, because we kept on writing proposals, the proposals were approved, so like even more than before. It was a time that we really needed like harder to make sure that SPI could survive and keep on providing services for the community.
Je suis ici depuis 5 mois. J'ai appris qu'il fallait être très calme, qu'il ne fallait pas s'énerver. Demain, Inch'Allah, c'était le leitmotiv. Je pense que pour les volontaires qui viennent volontariat, ils doivent avoir une très bonne connaissance du job qu'on va leur faire faire. Ici, j'ai l'avantage, je connais les abeilles, je dois adapter certaines méthodes, mais je connais le fonctionnement des abeilles.
I would recommend everybody that wants to do experience with UAID volunteer to just go and do it, and especially if they have like professional backgrounds that they can be useful for NGOs. For everybody, just do UAID volunteer program deployment, because it's a very, very nice experience.